reminder, the UK is pretty much still in lockdown, so majority of all of our episodes going forward at the moment will still be done by Zoom calls. We won't be able to actually meet any of our hosts in person or meet up together to film anything, so it's still all going to be done online. Hopefully we will be able to work in a studio and be able to film some stuff from there in the future. Welcome back to Geekified episode 5, where we will be doing our first ever movie review. But before we go any further, if I could quickly ask if you could possibly subscribe and give the video a little thumbs up. That will help us be able to make more content in the future and keep people and content creators like us going. That would be great. We're going to jump straight into it. What we are talking about today is the movie The Old Guard. Now this is directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood. It's just came out on Netflix on July the 11th. You'll find out the comics are by Greg Rucka and Leonardo Fernandez, if you want to go out and have a quick read of them before you watch the movie. We are going to be talking about the film. You're going to speak to this guy, Tony, who you've already met before, and this guy, Nathan, who you've already met in a previous episode before. The story of The Old Guard is the story of Andy. Her full name is Andromache of Cynthia, played fantastically by Charlize Theron, who leads an army of 5 immortal warriors who fight good causes across the centuries while teaching new immortal recruit Niall, played amazingly again by Kiki Lane. Now here is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the film, we are going to talk about bits that happen at the end of the film. We're going to talk about a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film and you're wanting to see it without spoilers, just stop now, come back and visit us again, because it is about to spoil it for you. There is quite a lot of info coming up. So you've had your warning, so let's get straight into it. So, welcome back. I'm going to introduce you to Nathan and Tony.
Hey.
As we mentioned in the summary, we are today talking about The Old Guard, which just arrived on Netflix last Friday, on Friday night. It's already steamrolling in the papers. The reviews are already in. The critics are already, well, I won't say what they're saying right now before we start to discuss it, but this is our first movie review that we're doing on this channel, so if you do like it, please look for future movie reviews. But we're going to open up the discussion of what we think about The Old Guard. So a quick summary from each person. We're going to jump straight over to Nathan first. Give me the quick summary of what you felt about the film.
I think it was a mess, to be honest. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. It was okay. I think over the last sort of couple of years, there's a lot of big action films that sort of moved the genre on a bit. You know, things like John Wick, Extraction, and this one, it just felt like it was from 15 years ago. It started out. It was all scored, the music, and then suddenly halfway through, it went into these weird songs that didn't really fit with the rest of the film, and it was trying to be a bit too woke as well, I think.
Oh, right, I'll stop you there. Just a quick summary, and then I'll give you some plot points. Tony, quick summary of what you felt about the film.
I couldn't agree more with Nathan. I thought it was really rushed, almost like the production value cheap at some points. Storyline, yeah, it was just. It was almost like a B movie at points, but yeah, I did not enjoy it. Well, I was quite disappointed with it. I had fun watching it, but I was disappointed. I hoped for more.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a hat trick on this film. All 3 of us are exactly the same. For me, I just felt it had some of the best potential I have ever seen with what could have possibly been a tremendous film. But to agree with what I think, Tony, you said it there, it just looked like the production value was almost there, but just not fully. So it was a bit of a shame. So I'll go back over to you, Nathan, and just if you want to just kind of highlight some of the stuff that you felt was actually what wrong with the film that you didn't actually like.
I mean, I read the first issue of the comic as well. Yeah. And it seems that they were sort of sticking quite closely to the material, but it just sort of felt like, oh, now it's time, let's have a fight, and let's make it look really choreographed. and not natural at all. You know, like I said, the last sort of year or so, you've had things like, you know, the John Wick, especially Part 3, Extraction, and then even Gangs of London on the TV, where the fight scene, that sort of part of cinema has moved on so much, and it just felt like it was Commando Arnie film from the 1980s. You know, I'll punch now, then I'll watch at you, and it's like they were dancing, you know, rather than fighting. And it was just very slow as well. It felt to me, they're mortals. They had no other superpower whatsoever. So it was like it was somebody playing a game. Oh, you're dead now, but you can get revived, so it's okay, and you can carry on. I didn't get it really.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with pretty much everything you're saying. This review is literally going to turn into a bashing of this film. I think that's just the way that it's going to be.
The worst thing for me was I was looking this morning, and Charlize Theron's come out and said she's really keen to do a sequel and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, what are you talking about? She's done so many good action films, you know, Aeon Flux, Atomic Blonde, Fury Road, amazing action films, and she wants to do another one of these. What's she talking about? Well, must be the money.
Money talks. I'll get into that bit just a wee bit later. Tony, what was the key things for you that just didn't push your buttons?
Well, I was coming from a movie. I'd never read the comic books. I had heard of them. So I watched the movie first. But I suppose we are reviewing the movie. It was just like straight from. It was like too much, like narration, like not only from the voiceovers but from the characters. It was like, oh, now one of the characters is going to do a 3-minute monologue about how they're feeling in their past, and to be honest, there was no threat.
Yeah.
The entire movie, there was no threat whatsoever, and it was like, yes, they're mortal, so how can, you know, what can threat, you know? Okay, we're going to make maybe a comparison to maybe like Wolverine, maybe. It's the same powers that we're having. Someone who's indestructible to a degree, immortal to a degree. You know, where do your stakes happen? There was no stakes in the entire film. And even, so I thought, right, you know, as an actor, you know, I hate, you know, giving bad reviews for actors, but getting what's his name, Harry Mealing.
Harry Mealing was
no threat whatsoever, and
right,
you know, I think that was a weak point. Fantastic actor, but for him there was no menace at all. He was just like a spoiled brat.
Yeah, so it's really funny that you bring that up, because for me, the point when I had checked out of the film, we had the first fight when they were rescuing the girls from Sudan, which was kind of like, I was like, oh, I can see where they're going with this. I can see what they're trying to do. It wasn't great. Surely it was going to get better from the film. For spoiler alert, it didn't. But once you got to meet that character, Merrick, I had checked out. Because like he says, there was no threat. He wasn't scary. Didn't feel anything. It was such a stereotypical cliche of what a villain should be, with these wee button-up shirt buttoned all the way up, a suit jacket with a hoodie, and it just really. I've seen him in other things, and he's a good actor.
Yeah,
and he came across just washed over, like it was so.
Yeah.
Bare. It was just nothing to him.
Yeah, I think Chris, you might have seen that character in a certain DC movie recently.
Oh, what was he in?
Oh.
Similar, exact same costume, same mannerisms.
At the start of that film, oh my goodness.
Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it was very, very similar. It was just too copycat, but it was just.
Yeah, it felt as if they'd wrote the character of like what they're going to have as the villain. And I'm not sure if you've seen what the villain is like in the comics. He's brutal. So different, very scary, brutal, right? And he comes across quite scary, and then we get this just dishwater. I keep saying dishwater when I'm doing this show, but it's a dishwater version of a villain. It was really, really, really poor. It was so. And when I'd seen that, and he came on as being the villain, I was like, oh, this is just going to be full of cliches for bad guys from then on.
thought even the bit with Booker, the character that Matthias Schoenaerts played, and he's a great actor. And he had this sort of bit where he for about 4 seconds, he betrayed them. And he went, "Oh no, I was wrong, sorry." I was like, "Oh, you know." And then the best bit of the film is in the end credits when the bird from the bottom of the ocean comes back out.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's going to be the best bit. And then, oh, that's it. That's the only thing we need to sequel.
Yeah.
I think Nathan had a point there. I thought that's when they were doing that story, they were setting her up to be the main villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the film. And that, we can only get one person back. Sorry, I don't know if this is a spoiler review or whatever, but I thought, right, they're going to go and get her back. Yeah, they're going to get her back. And that would be a perfect threat, balanced threat. Who's equal to them? Her, Yeah. That's what it should have been.
It's almost like the bad guys in Blade, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I did almost feel like when we did learn about Andy, when we did learn like that she wasn't healing at one point, like I did think that was actually the kind of the last thing that kept me watching the film, to be honest, because I was interested to see what they were going to do with her story arc. I was thinking, are they going to, the whole film I was thinking, they're going to kill her off. She's going to be bumped off, and then they're going to try and possibly do another sequel, but without Theron in the movie. And it was like, well, that's obviously saving a wee bit of money, get her bumped off and carry on. So you've got no stars for that, but obviously it's a change of plan from what I was expecting. And then the movie just goes on a tangent and corrects itself to almost be exactly what it was previously.
I think there's just loads of stuff in it where they just didn't explain things. Like they've never been any explanation of why they're why did they suddenly lose their power.
Yeah,
maybe that'll come in over the series of films. I decided to do a series of films, but I was just like, I was waiting the whole time for some sort of explanation as to, is there always only 5 of them?
It does. They should have explained it in the film, but there is a lot more about it in the comics. Right. Again, I won't overly dispute what it is, but there is a lot more, and they do talk about it a lot more in the comics. It's just very glossed over in the film. Again, it's almost like, it was a 2-hour and 4-minute film. You could have fit that in. There's a lot of rubbish in the film that you could have taken out and actually gave a really nice story as to who they are and what their purpose. It was a shame.
Well, you could have just made that 90-minute film and it probably would have been okay, because it would have been just action.
Should have just been really, really good action.
Yeah, it's kind of pick on your point, Chris. I kind of thought the same, when I thought they were going to kill off Charlie, and then I thought, they're actually setting this film up to be a TV series for Netflix. That's what I thought they were going, because I kind of thought, maybe that's why the production value is kind of quite a high level for TV, but not for film. I thought that's the road they were going down. We'll get 2 big stars in. I don't know if they're producers on the films, to be in the film, set it up, and then do like a couple of seasons. But
to discuss bits about the production value, there was certain scenes it was running into Sudan when they're rescuing the girls. There was not once was there a wide shot on the location. Every shot was just a kind of mid shot of somebody in the walls or very close up fighting. Well, as you put it, Nathan, dancing. There wasn't much fighting involved. They never expanded on the shot, which to me, I don't know if it's just because I've had a lot of experience in the film world and do know a lot. That just shows that a very, very restricted budget. So rather than actually have a big unit, they're filming a very small location and do lots of tight shots to make it look and feel like where they're in the place. But I do watch films and do see stuff like that, and I think that they just didn't have the budget to make it look where they were. Even though they managed to get them walking through sand dunes, bloody whatever that was, but they couldn't do a wide shot of kind of bunker area. Even when it got down to the last shot when they're in the pub, that just felt like I was watching bloody Brookside or something.
EastEnders.
Yeah, it just.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like a high level BBC show. I was like, now we're in the pub and we've just murdered half a dozen people in a building. Yeah, let's go and have a pint. England.
Yeah, and if you're not stupid, that's not far away from where they just destroyed an entire office and killed a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, we'll just go to the pub. Where are we going to go? Oh, just across the Thames there. Let's go there.
And anyone got the Weatherspoons app?
Aye. Yeah, it's just, it was so many. I mean, it's so many dumbfounding moments where I was just sitting watching, going, "Really? This is
Even,
the
you know,
best
the
part?"
sort of the flashback bits when they're in that when the other guy, whoever he was before, gets killed and he's lying on the battlefield. Even that bit is a tiny little space in a forest, and it's not even, you don't see the big battle happening. You see like 5 people and maybe a couple of extras in the background running past, and that's all you see.
Yeah. So I mean, given all the kind of negativity we're talking about it, like, do both of you? We all feel the same. So we all feel the same. We all like action movies. We all like comic book movies. What do you think? Do you think something that has been discussed recently, not for this film, but quite a lot, people are talking about, is called John Wick fatigue?
Mm-hmm.
So when the John Wick series came in, it really gave a shot in the arm to action hero movies. They suddenly couldn't be old school action anymore. This was a new level of action. So any movies that have subsequently come out that don't have that type of action in it, it's getting called John Wick fatigue. It's old school, and people just aren't warming to it at all. So do you feel that that's a thing, or do you think differently? Do you think it's just a bad film?
I don't think you can, if somebody comes out and makes a really good job of something, you can't then, you know, put a negative spin on that. You know, it's John Wick. The 3 John Wick films are fantastic.
Yeah.
And the most excited thing I'm excited about coming up is when they eventually get around to doing the Continental TV show.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be phenomenal as well. And I think the other people, you can't make a bad film and try and make out that's a big film anymore in that genre, because it's put it on. Even like before that, you had the Taken films, and they were the same. They're just better than the other ones in that sort of genre, and you've got to, like, everyone else has got to raise their bar as well, you know. So I don't think you can. I think if people are getting not liking bad films because another film is good, then that's a good thing for me.
Oh yeah, I do. I definitely agree with you there, because at the end of the day, once you raise the bar, you shouldn't really be going below it. You know what I mean? Once you make something of a good quality, if you make something that's just not as good, it's just not as good. It's a bad film.
And plus the fact, when the first John Wick came out, it wasn't like a massive budget and a massive film. It was a bit of a sort of sleeper hit that sort of grew, and obviously it's got bigger as it's gone through, and then you can see the production values going up, and they got bigger actors in it and stuff like that. At the time, Keanu Reeves was going through a bit of a slump. He made a couple of not really bad films, but not great films, and he's just sort of found his way again with John Wick, and now he's, you know, probably the hottest property in Hollywood, just about.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Marvel have been chasing him since John Wick for roles, and he keeps knocking them back or saying it's not time. It's a story for another episode of Geekified when we discuss Keanu Reeves. We could do a whole episode on that.
Yep.
So I'd say, like for me, like the whole concept of John Wick fatigue is a good thing, like you said, Nathan. I do think that the movies just have to. You can't get away with being cheap anymore. That's it. You just can't get away with not doing as good or as smart as some of these films are now. I mean, the action sequences in John Wick are slick. They are so slick. So when you see that, and then you see the action sequences we got in the first action sequence in Sudan, you can see how slow they are.
It's like an old like Hong Kong kung fu film, you know, like there's a big circle and one guy attacks him at one time.
Yeah. But it's just little things. And, you know, obviously we're saying this, you know, it's because we're passionate about filmmaking and comics and stuff, and it's like, if people get this power, and, you know, we've got big production studios like Amazon and, you know, Netflix, and if they can just churn out, you know, there has to be a degree of responsibility, and, you know, and not only like for the actors in it, but also, you know, the enterprise of the comics as well.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you do one bad film, you can completely destroy a fan base and, you know, and potential for, you know, later on the years, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like Batman almost got destroyed, you know, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, more than a few years ago. And,
Schumacher.
you know, Schumacher, you know, you've got to really be careful and sensitive, and, you know, and not rush things. Or
it's almost like a slang term now. It's like when you give something bat nipples, like it's like jumping the shark. It's like, oh, bat nipples for the film. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
You know something's ruined when they do stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is a dangerous precedent to set. But linking on to another point that you're saying there, talking about responsibility, Tony. When we've watched the film, I've read the comics. Nathan's read it. Did you read any of them, Tony? Did you flip through any of them?
Yeah, I read the 2017 one, the
Right.
first one.
It's the first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So obviously I'd asked the guys coming on, because I've read quite a few of them. It's still ongoing just now, the comics. Read it, it's a great comic. But there's a lot of changes and stuff. But ultimately, going back to your question, Tony, talking about responsibility for the film, who's responsible for a bad film? Who's responsible for this film for not being great? Where does it land on you as a person? How do you see? Do you think it's Netflix who budgeted it? Do you think it's the actors? Do you think it's the director?
Yeah. Well, they had. Is it Greg Rucka?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
right,
so he wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
But so you would think he would have some say and some voice, but I think what it comes down is just, again, and I think we've talked about this on a similar podcast, and it'll be interesting to find out how much involved Charlize Theron was and how much the producers were saying. But to me, this smells of too much input from fingers high above who don't have a clue.
That's exactly what I feel.
And they're like, oh, they've messed it up. Yeah.
A bit of it as well is the director they got not really directed action films before.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. When I went to look at the director, I was like,
I can't remember her name, but I do remember that it was the last film was about 15 years ago or something as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't an action film. I can't remember her name. It's a double-barreled last name.
Prince-Bythewood.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I think we're talking about go back to John Wick again. The first John Wick didn't have a huge budget.
Yeah.
But they managed to work within that budget and make a really cool film. And I think they could have done that here, but I think they've sort of thought, they've obviously spent all their money on a couple of big stunts. Jumping out the building at the end, and the bit when he's sitting there with all his guts hanging out. And then rather than, spending the money wisely, which is, that's probably the producers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the director.
Restrictions on people's budgets are a big thing as well. So they can turn around and say, well, we don't think the film's going to make as much, so we're taking 50,000 off of the budget, so you lose things. But given what I'd said earlier, like about locations and stuff, as far as I'm aware, if anyone knows anything about big film budgets, please correct me in the comments, but would it cost that much to make a one big shot for somewhere? Would it really be that difference to get some more shots that set up the scene for some of them? Because it just felt it was so close. I don't think it would.
I think that would be really cheap, because at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, you just use stock footage.
Yeah, it was plenty.
You can flip it and decolor it or whatever you want. So again, I don't know why.
I personally, I agree with you, Tony. I think there is a lot to do with, it seems as if it was cut and paste movie again. It seems as if there was a lot missing from it. It seems as if there was some of the exponential information that you really needed could have been placed in, but it feels like it might have been there and it's just been taken out. But my finger, unfortunately, is going to fall on the director for this. Ultimately, I don't feel the gel and the image of what she was trying to make. It doesn't seem as if it gelled well. And ultimately, for me, that's the director's job to bring everything in the film together correctly. It just feels like it was a bit of a hack job, because there was so many things in it that looked great, were stunning, great ideas. Don't get me wrong, they came from a comic, but really, it should be even easier to take it from a comic rather than your own mind, because you've already got pretty much a book on what you're making in front of you.
That's if the director got the final cut, though.
Correct. That's true. Yeah, but I just don't. I don't feel the imagery was there either. I don't feel everything in the film felt like one fundamental feeling. It didn't feel like one image. It didn't look the same. Didn't feel the same. And that, for me, that's the director's responsibility to make sure everything's been shot and looking and framed in the same way across the entire film.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually, because you know, especially it's a graphic novel, I got no sense of Leandro Fernandez like imagery or like colouring at all.
Yeah.
There was no even hints of it in whatsoever, which was quite disappointing, you know, because if you are a comic book fan, you know, not only the characters and the, you know, sometimes it is the actual graphics that do draw you into a book.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to hear from fans who, from that point of view, of they would be really disappointed, because to me it didn't look whatsoever like the comic books.
Yeah, because I mean the comics got beautiful coloured skies and everything. It's like it's such a strong palette behind the shots that you see.
I remember the bit when they're first discussing the job in Sudan in that cafe.
Yeah.
Like it's all like purples and blues and stuff to make it really moody. And it's just sat in a cafe, having a coffee.
Yeah, it just didn't come across very well at all. So unfortunately, it does fall for me mainly on the director. I just didn't enjoy the full movie as a one full unit.
Yeah, like I said, I've already mentioned, one of the most confusing things for me was the soundtrack to the movie as well. It's like the first half is all score, there's no music, and suddenly it jumps into these weird songs that don't really fit with the action. And just like at the end, there's some really like uplifting sort of dancey type tune. I was just like, what's that? Why is that even on this?
Yeah. To pick up one of the other things that you said, Nathan, I'm just curious as to what you felt was woke about the film.
Okay, I mean, in the comics, the character of Coulson, the CIA guy, he's a white guy, and they've cast a black actor in it. They seem to try in the comic as well. It's not that clear if Neely or Niall, whatever you say her name, is a black character.
I think she is. She's black in the comic.
It wasn't that obvious to me, but it just felt like they were trying to. They made quite a lot to do with the two guys in it as well, and I just seemed like they were trying to hit buttons. You know, we must make sure we have a gay character. Must make sure we have these black characters. Must make sure we have these things, and they put a lot of into that.
I think the fault actually for that lies in the comic, because all of that is in the comic.
All right, okay.
So the two guys that are in a relationship and have been in a relationship for thousands of years, but if I remember right, when I was reading about it, I think it was Greg Rucka who did say when he was doing the screenplay that he fought to have the scene where the boyfriend scene, when he gives the boyfriend line, he's like, "That's not my boyfriend. That's my," and he goes on the big speech and rant.
Yeah, no, I think it didn't. I mean, I've got no issue with them having, the homosexual couple in the thing. That's not the problem. I just felt like they felt the need to emphasize it in a way that we knew that they were. So I thought that it was trying to tick that box, as it were.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think given that the comic did only start in 2017, like it is very much a woke story anyway. We've got a product placement there, Nathan. Iron Brew, if you want to throw me some money for the next video, we'll get something up.
The other thing one major problem I had with it was Charlize Theron's character was however many thousand years old. Yeah. Why did she have an American accent?
It's true, yeah.
Even when they were fighting in the medieval times, or whenever it was, in the field, she still had that American accent. And I was just like, why have you? All the other characters made sense.
Yeah.
You know, the Roman soldier the Italian soldier it was an Italian actor. The French guy, Matthias Schoenaerts, is Belgian, so he had the French accent.
Yeah.
The other guy was like Persian, so he had like the Middle Eastern sort of accent. You're just like, why is she American? Why?
Is she American?
I mean, go by her name. She's probably going to be Greek or somewhere in that part of the world.
Yeah.
So why? I'm not saying that she should necessarily have had an accent. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I didn't actually think about that. That's a very, very good point.
That really annoys me when they put an accent in a film they don't need to.
Given that I didn't actually notice that at all. I didn't think of it, but given how correct they were with all the other characters, that's a really valid point. Like, why would Charlize have an American accent?
And she's not even American, she's South African anyway.
Yeah, which would have made more sense if she just spoke in a South African accent. Even if it's in English, obviously, because everyone's speaking English, but it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Valid point.
Yep.
Another point for the director. There you go.
On accents, then never watch out Highlander. Then. So.
Oh, I know. I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
Or any
it's
Sean Connery film.
It's
almost like,
say I'm from many places, so yeah.
Well, it's like in the film Alexander, with Angelina Jolie. She's the only one in the whole film who's a Greek accent on. Nobody else bothers.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's just one of these things that pushes my buttons in a film.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I totally agree with you. So to close our first review, sorry, just take this guy off. To close our first review, just out of 10, we go in out of 10 from Nathan.
3.
3. Oh, that's worse.
I almost turned it off. If we hadn't been doing this, I would have turned it off.
Yeah. So Tony,
I'm going to give it a 6.
6. You're slightly better than me. I'm giving it a 5.
A bit of Sunday charity going on there, I think.
I'm on the payroll.
What payroll was that? Can you get me on that, Tony?
Yeah.
He wants a part in the sequel.
I
know. He knows the pub they filmed in at the end. He's going to pop down there.
It is. Honestly, it's a Canary Wharf. The steps to go down. I was like, what's outside pub?
I've been in that pub. I know what it is.
So that's cool. That's not an absolutely great score. It looks like majority of the critics are coming around and saying on average it's about a 7 to 7.5. So we've hit that a little bit low, but you're talking to some geeks here who are always a bit more critical than your average critic anyway. So we're going to finish off with one last little bit of information in the style of Geekified that I normally do. Something dropped today, just a little bit of information from a film that's coming out at the end of the year. It was supposed to be out. So I'm going to share on the screen. Give me 1 second, I'll just get it out. I'm going to share on the screen an image from a character that is coming out in October. This is the first full image we've had of her. If it opens, open. There we go. Anticipation. I'm sure both of you will be interested. This is from Wonder Woman 1984. We have the first full image of Barbara Minerva. This is obviously one of the promo posters, so I want a reaction to this guy. You see it?
Wow. She looks completely different.
Yeah.
See, I'm so excited for her. It's like, because we always see her in like comedy roles and stuff. She, this, wow.
Yeah, I'm very. To be honest, when I knew they were doing Cheetah, I was a bit worried about how they were going to play it. So I thought, it's either going to be tacky CGI or really, really bad costumes. But from what I can see from this, I am 100% on board. I really like this look. I like this style.
Yeah, I love how they went for the sort of the 3D poster.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, they were the raids a little bit later in the 80s, because I remember having lots of them.
Yeah.
As a kid. But I love it. Absolutely love it.
The only thing that this does, in my heart, inspire me for is a future Thundercats movie. We can do it. Look at this. Anybody who's anything to do with Thundercats, we can make the film.
Yeah. I've been saying that for ages. As soon as Avatar came out, I was like, honestly, who's got the rights to that? I do not know.
Yeah. I know. Very, very interesting. But I'm looking forward to. So obviously we'll probably get hit with a lot more promotional images and little bits of footage for Wonder Woman 1984 soon. So looking forward to that.
Let's hope it's better than the first one.
You don't like the first one?
Not a huge fan.
Okay, we're going to finish the show now.
No.
Not a huge fan.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh.
I also didn't like the first Captain America film, so maybe
that's divisive. I'll let you away with that one. That divided a lot of people. That divided geeks and humans alike.
Yeah.
But so thank you very much for joining me today, guys. We're not going to just.
I'm not allowed back on now.
No, Nathan's barred. Nathan is barred. He's off. He's done. You've got a 2-1 vote. You're it, mate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Please stay tuned at the end where we're still giving away a wee Funko Pop. All you need to do is like, subscribe, and leave a comment in any one of the videos. And we'll be doing that relatively soon once our subscriber numbers. If you have watched any of the videos and you've enjoyed them, please subscribe. It just takes 2 seconds to click that button, and it'll help us, me, myself, Tony, Nathan, make lots more of these. So thank you very much. We can do this all day.